At the end of the day, it's going to be it's sort of a race between the nations at the moment in terms of who gets this rollout and this reopening right. And at the moment, touch wood, we seem to be doing okay. Consensus, as we said, is that the pound will be well supported, but there's some serious risks still out there at the moment. I know one that we spoke about recently was the Scottish election coming up next month, and whether or not that is actually a risk for the pound or not. Consensus, as we've said, is that the pound will be well supported, but there's some serious risks still out there at the moment. I know one that we spoke about recently was the Scottish election coming up next month, and whether or not that is actually a risk for the pound or not.
Yeah, I think I see that as it inevitably will lead to a risk, because Boris is going to find himself with a Scottish government that is overwhelmingly in favour of a second referendum. So public opinion is going to almost force his hand for that. But if we know that's going to happen, but it's not going to happen for a couple of years, and we're probably bored senseless from the UK public's perspective on going through political campaigns and referendum based on what we've been through for the last 4.5 years, I think that risk turns up on the doorstep a few weeks before the referendum. And I think the campaigning of that is going to be so different to how we saw Brexit. Brexit was a battle bus and an empty slogan, turned out to be an empty slogan anyway. That a lot of people, they won the hearts and minds. And I think this time round, people are going to be looking at the balance sheets and the realities of what that vote means for the decades and of the rest of their lives and their kids' lives, rather than trying to make such an emotive decision. I'm saying that obviously with a very English accent, and I haven't got much of an idea what it's like north of the border for that. But I just think from a market perspective, that risk starts to play out much closer to the time, and it's just an inevitability, really.
I read recently that there was a survey taken by the S&P a few years ago in terms of where they would see the Scottish economy as an independent nation by 2025, and they said that there's they would expect to be running at 9% or 9.9% deficit of GDP, 9.9% of GDP. I think the international sort of standard of you're okay is about 3%.
Wow.
So, in your view, do you think that Scotland leaving would be a bad thing for the rest of the UK?
Well, absolutely. Candidly, I think it's we are a union. We've built the sort of the economic power that we've got collectively now. Obviously, a lot of that is weighted into what is modern day economics and London and the southeast, but the reality is we're definitely stronger as a nation. So not that I will be campaigning, but I think I would be looking much more closely at the numbers, and hopefully I'll be in a position where I can write about the numbers and say, look, Scotland, really do think about this as well. I think I've probably got 4 or 5 readers north of the border, so we'll have a look and see.